coached almost 1,700 games in this league, regular season and playoffs. Have there been a lot of games like last night's?
Was there 1,700?
If you had regular season and playoff, you're getting close.
That's a lot. Quite honest, I told a couple of players that I've been in lots of games, but I don't know when you've had 90-some shot attempts and lose. So, you know what? Take the positives out of it and let's go again.
What did you guys have for scoring chances?
In the 30s. Yeah, should score 4.
How would you assess your team's confidence level?
We're good. You know, I talked to everybody individually today, and we're good. I mean, we still have I might be serious, but I still believe we win 21 in a row. So that's how I feel.
What do you make of the playoff chase and as it relates to where your team is in the standings right
Yeah,
now?
I think I've said it all along. It doesn't change. I mean, I said this last summer, and some of the pundits should have listened to me about the way the division is, right? 5 teams. There's going to be one good one not get in, and all 5 could come. So we just got to keep plowing here.
I know how important the process is, but talking to some players, they're kind of tired of hearing about that. They want results. Is that what you want to hear from them?
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Here's my take on last night. You get 1 point for effort. You get 2 for a win.
When you look at that effort, though, and you see that, and knowing what you just said, there's still some points available there. I mean, can it take a game where you finally just get the results of the
You know
other
what,
side?
Brendan, no one's saying that, right? That's my, as a leader and a responsibility and all that, to stay positive and keep pushing buttons, right? That's the key, right? But the next part is to the complete part of it. You know what, you get full marks and pat on the back for overcoming bad goals and coming back against a team like that and all that. But then you got a 3-2 lead, right, with a handful of minutes left, and you can't take that 4-on-4 penalty. That plays into the Stars' hands always on the other team, and you can't take the penalty 4-on-4. Can't take that. So, and then you have to have the structure in your penalty killing. So, you know, there's those little things that you have to. It had nothing to do with overtime. It had to do with coming into that, right? So, obviously, there's always areas you got to clean up, but those are individual things that's your responsibility, right? Take care of it.
How would you assess the team's goaltending the past 5 games or so?
I think we've given up too many goals against. So, if you look at it, our save percentage is not where it needs to be. That's clear, right? And we've given up the second fewest shots in the NHL. So we should have a better record, but that's past. You got to deal with it. We need Marky to get hot. He's such a great teammate and great guy. Now he's got to really put his foot on it.
So do you anticipate him getting more of a workload as you try to get him hot heading forward? Or?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're in a series, that's how you got to look at it, right? We're playing playoff games.
Given this team's position in the standings and the trade deadline coming, do your conversations with the players today at all deal with
No,
that?
not at all. And you know what gets overlooked always especially here, because we have our farm team here. I'm really clear on it. I stay right away from all any noise or white noise of other players or other teams. I think we have a lot of really good young players here that are coming, and I've got to see them this year. So that's what makes. I look at the big. And I don't know how many coaches actually do that, but I look at the big picture part of it. Right? I think we brought up those 2 kids, and they're really going to be really good additions to our team going forward. And I think there's 3 or 4 more on the Wranglers that are too. So I'm quite happy right where we are with this group.
So you're not wishing for change short-term or long-term?
Absolutely not. The only way I'd look at any of that is if it's something that's helps your team in the long run. That's the only way. It's because you're not you have to get there. Right? It's not like you're there.
Daryl, on a different note, the Kings traded Jonathan Quick. Yeah. You won with him. How integral was he on those couple?
Yeah, he was one of the leaders. I mean, obviously, that's the guy who played a pile of playoff games, and and played hurt and had major surgeries after a couple of them and still came back. And he's a warrior. He's one of the old style guys, right?
Is that the legacy of him in LA, the warrior aspect?
Absolutely. He's a great leader in the room, great work ethic, great personality. Dominant competitor, I'll tell you that. I mean, a lot of those series, you look at how deep, they were tough series, and obviously those teams had good goalies too, and that was his challenge. He wanted to be better than the other goalie.
Speaking of that competitiveness, Tyler and Trevor would say even if you score on him in practice, you can expect a puck to be whistled
Yeah,
at you.
there was usually a little racket. Yeah, he's a great guy. Like, you think about it, that just tells you how it changes, right? Because LA, they rebuilt and they've done an awesome job of it, and kept the 4 or 5 guys that, now Brownie retired and now Jonathan's gone, so they still have Drew and Kopi, and just tells you how teams change, and then it takes those 4 or 5 years again, and then they start turning again. So. He's had a great career, and I know full well today he'll be ready to. His whole thing will be, I want to show somebody. I guarantee that.
Darryl, there are a lot of teams who are in an arms race, it appears, in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
In your experience, can you make too many changes to a team that's kind of rolling, even if it makes the team better on paper?
Yeah, you don't know till it's over. We in LA, just from experience, and the first cup we won there, it was pretty substantial. We made 5 or 6, brought kids up and traded for Jeff Carter, and yeah, so it was pretty significant. Like, there was 5 guys that went into our lineup, so that's a lot. And 3 or 4 of them were just kids: Dwight King, Jordan Nolan, Anzi Slava Voinov. So that was the first one, and then bring Jeff in, trade Jack Johnson for Jeff Carter. And then the next one, when we knew we wanted goal scoring again, we did a lot of work on it. We ended up getting Marian Gabrick, who, he set a record in the playoffs for the team for goals. So, you bring those star factors are significant. The role guys usually are great character guys, so they fit in. If they're in the win mode. So. You don't know till it's over, quite honest. I think when you're looking at the East there, Tampa's 3-time Stanley Cup finalist, so you got to keep pace with them. You got to do it in your division, and it's like when I talk about our division, you got to do it. You got to keep pace in your division, and once you get close to that deadline, you think you're a team that can have a run at, then you load up, because if you win. Look what Tampa's doing. It's gonna, once that's all done, once those stars max out, well, then they're going to be in that position again too that Chicago's going through now, and that LA went through. It's clear. Those top teams. I mean, there was 3 or 4 of us that won all the cups. If you look at it, we knew we had to go through Chicago or St. Louis or Anaheim. So those were the 4 teams that always went after it, right? So now look where Chicago is, look where St. Louis is, look where Anaheim is, look what LA did. So that's the cycle, the circle.
Yesterday was a pretty crazy day in the league for that type of stuff. As a hockey fan, do you follow it and get caught up a little bit in that?
Yeah, I think just the big names, because quite honestly, those big names, you see a guy like Patrick Kane who you went to war with, but you had a great amount of respect for it because of that, right? So to see him get another, Rangers are legit.
What are your thoughts on the fact that these Eastern teams are loading up the way that they are, and by comparison, teams in the West, including in your division, are a little bit more
Because
quiet?
Colorado's the defending Stanley Cup champion, right? So you have to be realistic. You want to get through out here, you're going to have to upset somebody. Right? The other side is Tampa is the benchmark, so Boston, Toronto, Rangers are going after it, right?